The board and management team have been successful in addressing a range of strategic and organisational challenges. What would you say are the 3 critical success factors that have attributed to great outcomes for your organisation?
The first critical success factor for the National Breast Cancer Foundation has simply been the relevance of the cause, which none of us can take any credit for. The second then flows from that, which is the sort of sense of community. So we're very fortunate that we have all sorts of people, businesses, individuals around Australia that, because of that relevance, really want to assist us in terms of fundraising. And I think the third thing is that our mission is just really, really clear. No one is any doubt, has any doubt about our purpose. We aim to achieve 0 deaths from breast cancer by 2030, and then beyond that to eradicate it altogether.
You get the strategy right, and you got to get the buy-in of your board. So you need to spend time, probably with an external strategist to come in, have a look at where you want to be in 5 years' time, understand the needs of your stakeholders. In the case of Westmead, because we're raising funds on behalf of 2 other stakeholders, and then get the sign-off for your board. Because you don't want to have any distraction as you implement your strategy. You want to make sure that everybody understands where you're heading and sign off on it. Step number 2, I think, like any businesses, you have to have a great team. A team that's going to execute this strategy. So you need to understand, what you currently have in terms of your resources, and you need to make some changes if needed in order to, train and hire the right people. You need to keep your board informed and on check, because your directors come and see you probably attend board meetings every 6 to 8 weeks. So you need to give them regular feedback of how you're tracking with the strategy, and possibly harness the strengths of your board to support you. In the case of Westmead Medical Research Foundation, we've got 10 staff and I've got 12 directors. So, what I've tried to do over the years is that make sure that, our directors, and not everyone, contribute to the same level. But what I've tried to do is make sure that all the directors are involved with supporting the strategies. Not necessarily getting involved with the execution of the strategies, because you won't have a clear delineation between operation and board, but support our management team and use their talents and network and their passions to help us to achieve our goals.
Alignment to purpose, to make sure that our strategy is going to achieve the purpose, and to be brutally honest if it's not, which is in fact what we were doing. When I started as CEO, I looked at the purpose and I looked at our strategy and went, don't think it's going to make it. Not because it wasn't worthy research projects, but we needed to have so much more information to then drive our strategy. Stakeholder engagement, make sure you know who your stakeholders are, and also your detractors, your protagonists, antagonists, everyone are included in that stakeholder group, not just the patients and the researchers, to find out what they know, because often these people have really valuable pieces of information that we've missed along the way or we've defended against. And in fact, it's not about that, it's about iterating knowledge to get to a really good position where you can develop a strategy. Once the strategy is mandated by the board, then you engage those stakeholders, including the detractors, because you've listened to them and you've incorporated and iterated their knowledge into the strategy as well. And that's, to me, is what true engagement is. Make sure you have the right resources, and your operations in place, because if you don't have the right resources and systems and processes, no matter how great the strategy is, it's not going to be fulfilled.
The first thing's quite powerful. I think what SVA is about is an idea for which the time has come, and that is that can we bring in sensitive and sensible ways, business disciplines, particularly from people who've got a passion for the sector and business skills, and find a way to use those and harness that. So that idea that there are a lot of people wanting to do that, struggling to find ways to engage, I think sits as a very powerful force behind what we've done. The second thing, and it's really levers off the first, is that I think we've been at SVA in the work we do a magnet for talent. So we've had extraordinarily high quality people from across the sectors, but again particularly from the business world's people who've been very successful in strategy in the top end, financial services, legal, investment banking professions, finding ways to use their skills, and in language that we'd use now, finding ways to connect their head and heart in doing work that they care passionately about. So that talent magnet, I think, is a core part of what we do, and I'd say that's number 2. I'd say the third thing is that like all non-profits, no money, no mission. And we've done, I think, a very effective job of building what I'd call a shareholder base. So if you look at SVA, we've got a pretty reliable funding base of over $10 million. More than 40% of that comes from a base of funders, and we use the language that we treat them as shareholders and social investors deliberately, so they're people who back strategically what we're doing. They're social investors. They hold us to account for the results that we generate. And that funding base really, which is close to $4 to $4.5 million a year, comes from a mix of high net worth supporters and corporate foundations. And so that idea that we've built a shareholder funding base, I think, is really a third force that's sat behind what we've been able to achieve.
There's no doubt that part of the success of Ozharvest is that I tapped into something that everybody did not need educating about. They already knew. So in a way, I was a little bit like the Pied Piper. But having said that, there were hurdles and there were challenges, because most people thought that you can't do this. And they were right. Legally, there were challenges, and we had laws amended in Queensland, South Australia, New South Wales and the ACT. So I think another success factor for us is I am entrepreneurial. And so challenges are just not obstacles, they're just challenges to be got through. So together with the board, we recognize that we're charting new territory, and they were very open to moving with me to make that happen.
So we partner with individuals, with communities and with governments. So there's a range of different stakeholders that we have to consider when we're making decisions on our business. The role for the board really is to have a range of skills and experience, and to understand contextually what we're doing overseas, who we're working with, and who are the staff that are carrying out that work. So that's a critical factor for our board to make decisions. A good working relationship between the senior management of the organisation and the board is absolutely critical.